Welcome to the Dirty Penguin Presents Movies! Welcome to the Dirty Penguin Presents Movies. I am your host, Kevin Waits. I am joined in the igloo, as always, by my faithful penguin co-hosts, Doug, Angie, Jesse, and Andy. Today we're talking about the 2007, right?
I believe so.
Six.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Was it 2006?
I thought it was.
Well,
Your thing is, no, it's not 2011.
Oh, it was the 2006.
Where do you went?
Bro, dude.
Well, and with that note, thank you for joining us.
Exactly.
Doug is now standing up and leaving on that. He's dropped
See
his
you
mic.
later, Doug.
He's done.
That's right. We're talking about Lucky Number Slevin. Josh Hartnet's and others vehicle Lucky Number Slevin.
Doug, give us those fresh movie facts.
Fresh facts, buddy.
Give it to us straight, Doug.
Play the facts.
Give it to us straight.
Fresh facts, Doug.
So lucky number Slevin. Lucky number Slevin. So lucky number 7.
Slevin.
Slurry number 11.
So since we're doing the critics hated, music audiences loved. Last movie of the season. This scored on Rotten Tomatoes a 51 from the critics.
Okay.
87
For the fans.
for the fans.
Okay.
So I think Andy's movie was the highest with 91.
I think mine had the greatest disparity too, right? Between critics and audience.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Mine was close.
That would be Boondock Saints.
Mine was
Oh,
pretty.
okay, yeah, that's right.
Mine was 29 and 84, but
Oh, wow.
So it's Andy.
Both of you, Andy and Jess.
Yeah, me then Empire Records.
Empire
Boondock
Records.
Saints and Empire Records.
Well, yours is 87. Lucky number 11, 87.
But the critics
It's
are
80
51.
it's 80
51.
Slevin?
Oh,
It's
The
80
disparity isn't
Isn't as
as
great.
big. Isn't as great.
But it's still there.
No, got an
Yeah,
80
absolutely.
Slevin. Good
So
job.
the stars Josh Hartnett, Ben Kingsley, Morgan Freeman, Bruce Willis, Lucy
Stellar
Liu,
cast.
and the Tooch.
Really,
Awesome
yeah.
cast.
Stanley Tucci.
I know.
Yeah.
I love him.
Corey Stoll. Come on now.
Who?
Corey Stoll, the guy who played Yellow Jacket in Ant-Man.
Oh, yeah.
He's
that
one
guy.
of the...
Oh, he's the guy in the vampire show that you hate.
Oh, my God. I
Yes,
can't
he is
stand
the-
him in that
he
show.
is the doctor in that vampire show that I used to watch that I just
You
kinda
just quit
fell
watching,
off.
didn't you?
You just
Yeah,
quit watching,
I didn't
right?
say that.
You just
What?
one
I
day
watched
stopped
2
watching.
seasons of it, and then I just
After
quit.
about 2
What are you
seasons,
talking
I never
about?
went back.
The Strain.
The Strain.
Yeah,
The
on
Strain.
FX.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
no.
vampire show that's not called
Nope.
Twilight. I do not want to
Uh,
partake.
From Game of Thrones,
Oh, who?
the guy who did the Red Wedding.
Oh,
Jon Snow. Hodor.
he did.
The Freys.
What do you mean you
The-
did?
Jamie Lannister.
Walter
Walter
Frey
Frey.
What's Game of Thrones?
Was in that. He was
dwarf.
the old man.
Peter
no,
Dinklage.
no, Walter Frey is the old man.
Peter Dinklage
that
is not
that presided over the Red
that's
Wedding.
him?
He's in the Strain.
Frodo.
No,
He's in the Strain.
no. He's in the Strain.
Samwise
The
Gamgee.
movie facts on Lucky Number
That was-
11.
And cut.
I gotta take that out. It was much ado about nothing.
Oh,
we're
my
not-
word.
Oh, that ain't going nowhere.
No.
We're keeping Walter Frey in the mix.
Walter Frey is in the Strain.
Who? Walter Frey?
Walter Frey is in the Strain, and this dude is
Are
in
we
the
just,
Strain as
are we just
well.
saying every word with an L, like after? Like, is that what we're
Just
doing
naming
now?
actors in the Strain now.
The Strain.
The Slain.
So this is directed by Paul McGeehan, who did Wicker Park, and he did like a season of Sherlock. If you ever watched the show
Okay.
Sherlock,
With Brenda
really, but okay.
Crumplesnatch.
yes,
Yeah.
and he did Victor Frankenstein with Harry Potter. Is it Harry Potter? Anyways, it doesn't matter.
All right.
Yes.
We're just naming actors now. Let's go.
I'm sorry. Fresh movie facts.
Cary Grant. I thought we were just naming actors. Okay.
So there's a very much trivia on this at all.
Okay.
So Josh Hartnett and Lucy Liu. Lindsay's reaction when she walks in on Slevin with his towel open is real. The scene was scripted, but Josh Hartnett actually flashed Lucy Liu without telling her he was going to do it.
Ew.
Lucy
I
Liu
don't
said
think
it
he did
was
that
her
today.
favorite
Well,
movie.
You shouldn't do
But
it.
in the Parks and Recreation show, there is a scene where the guy that plays Star-Lord,
Yeah.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, like flashes somebody at her door, and he was actually naked in that scene too. So it's still happening.
Oh joy!
I think they were shooting a movie for Lucy. Never mind. Josh Hartnett expressed he wanted to do a sequel with Lucy Liu, like a Slevin Lindsay sequel.
Okay.
Okay.
No thanks. Hard pass.
And the rest of the trivia
I
is
liked
really
her in
the rest of the
I
trivia.
love Lucy Liu.
By the way,
No,
I
I
do.
like
the rest of the trivia is literally stuff like Ben Kingsley was in a movie with so and so.
Ben Kingsley played Gandhi.
Yes, and so did so and so in the same movie, and you're like, oh, that's not really interesting trivia. Which, by the way, never mind.
How did it
just
do at
did.
the box office when it released?
Oh, I do have the numbers. It's $23 million budget.
Did it make money though?
No, yeah, it's $27 million budget. It made 22.
Oh,
Ooh, it lost money.
I think every movie
Studio's
we
not
chose
gonna be happy
did
about
not
that.
make much money.
At the box office, they
Yeah.
all did better in video
Had to.
sales
I mean,
It
that's
had
the
to in order
nature
for
of
the.
of the critically
of the-
panned
yeah.
movie. Yeah. Okay.
well, sometimes
Critically panned,
sometimes
audience
it's not
adores
always
it.
Well, but
like
you think that
that.
sometimes
That's not always true.
You think that some of it would have been like the audience loved it so much that it did well in the theaters, but we've kind of chosen just like not. I won't say they were all cult classics, but
Yeah.
movies that
Yeah.
kind of it really affected how they did. We didn't do like in spite of the horrible critics reviews, it made
Right.
$500 million.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, I don't keep up with how like royalties and things like that back in for streaming like I do with music, how that affects actors versus production companies. So like things like the roadhouses and the license to drives and things like that you see them on demand, and they're free on demand on Flicks on demand. This is not a endorsement for Flicks.
But if they'd like to, we,
Right. If you
I'm
want,
more than happy to take the money.
Hey.
yeah, send me some free DVDs or
We'll do
whatever.
a season of Flicks movies, sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
We will shamelessly plug Flicks with no problem, as long as you pay us.
We are for sale.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm bleeping out the last
I just
4
watched this
times
on
we said
beep.
it. Yeah. But I forgot what the fuck I was even saying.
About
Royalties.
Royalties, yeah.
Streaming
so
royalties.
I don't know if like that. I don't know how that accumulates with like when HBO licenses Roadhouse for a month of
So
streaming.
do you mean for the actors? Are the actors
Well,
getting
yeah,
money
'cause I
from
mean,
this?
well,
I mean,
yeah,
I think
'cause-
that's all. With their
But I mean,
contracts.
they usually, but I don't know if they would have the forethought to negotiate in like streaming demand.
Absolutely.
and,
I think
know,
a lot of people
I'm
missed
sure
out on a
today
lot
they
of
do.
money
Absolutely. I mean, that's where that
before
like,
streaming sort
I'm
of
sure
blew
today
up.
it's in the
the
contract
South
somewhere.
Park. Yeah, today it is.
Right.
But that's where the South Park guys make all their money. Is they sold off all like the TV rights to South Park a long time ago to Comedy Central, but they kept all like the digital distribution rights and video game rights and streaming rights, and all of that crap belongs to the two guys.
Well,
Big-
they also created
Okay.
all
Yeah.
of
Well,
that stuff.
but they created it at a time where they knew that was going to be important. In the
But, I mean,
90s,
there's-
they didn't realize it was going to be important.
But I mean, they get royalties for
So
stuff
do
like
they?
that was the 90s.
like.
when
oh,
they did
well,
that.
it was. You're right. It was.
But I mean,
That
we
was
still did
Late 90s.
movies like
Yeah.
Red Dawn only are like a known thing because they were always shown on HBO and they were
Yeah,
always shown on
that's true.
Channel 20
Yeah.
or 39 or
Yeah.
whatever it was. And so they obviously had to have some type of royalty system set up for that. So it seems like it would somehow have to try to
But
roll into.
I guess the question I'm asking in a roundabout sort of way is that reported to the stats that we see now? You know what I
I
mean?
don't
It
think
is.
so.
I don't
I
think
think
it
this
is.
is what.
Well, it's kind of like the Netflix movies that get released, but like it'll be like they only made $4 million, but it went on Netflix the same day, and so it had like 40
But it
million
had, like,
viewers.
yeah.
It's kind of like his Adam Sandler's movie that got watched like by 60 million people, 60
Right.
million times. How much money does that really make?
I
Yeah.
think in cases like this, like when they're released in the theater and they don't make what you paid to, a studio would look at it. We didn't make what we paid. Flop, bad, not
Yeah.
good. just that's how they look at it when they release movies.
Yeah.
I think this was probably considered a
And I think
a
because
flop.
most
Yeah.
people have to be in like the Actors
agree.
Guild, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there's some residual type setup through the guilds that
Yeah,
like they have to get
well,
this
'cause
much
I
money
was-
if you're billed this way or you have this many lines. I think that kind of gets built.
The reason I ask is because I was listening to a podcast with Mel Brooks. They were interviewing Mel Brooks, and he was talking about his movies that over the times that have, at the time, they were considered flops, but over the course of X amount of time through DVD sales and all the things, they have made their money back. He was talking about a
Showgirls is the perfect example.
I think, yeah,
Where it's like one of the highest DVD
Yeah.
sales, but
Yes, but someone made money, but it wasn't the star.
It wasn't the
the
stars,
actors or the
yeah.
actresses.
I'm wondering if they made it. They had to make something. Like here's
I'm sure they
Well,
made
you
something
would-
initially.
I don't know.
Like here, you get a $300,000 paycheck,
but unless
and
they
your
write it-
buyout.
unless
but
they
like
write it
the Tom
into their
Cruises of
contract.
the world, the Tom Cruises of the world have negotiated in points on the back end, and the RJDs of the world have negotiated points on the back end. If it makes this much money, then you X amount this. And then in the streaming catalog, when the DVDs, you're going to come back and you're going to do a version of it, a black box version of it that does this, that, and the other, and you get a portion of this. That wasn't around when all this, but we still see DVD sales of, you can go and get a Blu-ray of Red Dawn or of whatever. And does that report to the my question? Does
Okay.
that report
I don't think it does.
back
That we're
into
gonna say
the
no.
earnings?
We're gonna say
Oh, no.
I don't
Not
think it
for
does.
this.
Well, I mean, all we say here is box office. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I
You're
mean,
right.
so all you say is, well, this made $12,000 in the box office, or Way of the Gun made $6 million in the box office. Like that's all it is. I mean, who knows if Boondock Saints is a perfect
Yeah.
example, but we all know that they didn't see any of that money,
Right.
of the DVD sales.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
True story.
I guess that's the case study that proves the point.
Was that all the fresh facts there?
Oh.
Okay.
I have
I want
some
to hear. I
reviews.
want to hear some reviews.
It shrinks
I
your
want to hear these so
it
bad.
shrinks your perception of what movies can do.
Oh yeah, I think I wrote that down.
In the end, Lucky
I
Number
feel dumber for having watched this.
in the end, Lucky Number
Exactly.
Slevin is like that guy you knew in high school who seemed cool and interesting until he opened his.
Right. I love that.
It's the hipster you try to ignore at the party, knowing he's got one good story, but would keep talking it until you agree he's cooler and smarter than you.
Yep, I would agree with that one.
okay.
Angie,
You
That was
chose
my
it.
pick.
Angie.
I like this movie.
Okay.
I like it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Now tell
I
us
don't
why.
like Josh Hartnett.
I
dislike
in this movie or
I don't like Josh Hartnett in any movie he's been in.
okay.
I like this movie despite him.
Okay.
What other movies has Josh Hartnett been in?
Pearl Harbor.
He was in the one where
What other movies has Josh Hartnett?
he was in that one movie, the 40 Days and 40 Nights,
oh yeah.
where he made the chick orgasm with a feather.
Wicker Park. He's probably in one of my favorite.
Ooh. Are we back to porn talk again?
Apparently.
Sin City 2, maybe?
He's in
Oh,
one of
yeah,
my
he was in
favorite.
Sin
He's in
City.
one of my favorite movies, and like a lot of people hate it.
Wait, what movie?
I enjoy it.
What movie?
Where he
What?
was
Othello.
like the retelling of Othello, but it's kind of
With,
like the Romeo
Julia
and Juliet.
Stiles.
Okay. Okay.
So they do it, but it's not in Old English.
Okay.
Oh, like
It's
the
not in
drink.
Shakespearean.
It's not in Shakespearean. So, but it's like a retelling
in
of the
malt
story,
liquor.
and he is Iago.
I don't mind him.
I just don't like him. He wasn't ever.
Oh, and he was also in a Halloween.
Oh, that's
H2O.
right. Okay,
H2O.
boom. Okay.
Oh, we were talking
Yes, he
Penny
was in
Dreadful.
H2O. Yes.
Oh, he was
he
in-
was in Penny Dreadful
If you
too.
ever watched the show,
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I don't like the look of his face.
Aw.
I don't. I just.
Is
I
it
don't-
face you would just want to punch?
I-
Yeah, kind of thing.
I don't like, and I
He-
think I remember
for
him making
you-
some comment about.
For you, he is no Ryan Phillip.
he is not. But I like this movie. I like Lucy Liu.
Yeah.
I think she's quirky and cute. I like her. I like the movie. It's enjoyable for me. It's just mindless fun
Okay.
for me. Like, I am probably part of the audience loved part. Because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the ridiculous mustache they put on
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis when they do the flashbacks.
See, that's who I was looking forward to
Yeah.
in this movie was Bruce
But he
Willis.
was minimal.
And he was good for
But he
what
was
he was
good,
in. But
you know.
yeah,
And
he
it's
wasn't
got
in-
Morgan Freeman. It's got Ben
Yeah, yeah,
Kingsley.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
It is
Stanley
chock
Tucci.
full of acting talent.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot of good people in this movie.
This movie for me was a Sixth Sense without the M. Night Shyamalan tag, and that's not a good thing.
I never
It
watched
annoys
Sixth
me.
Sense.
I
that
figured it
annoys
out.
me
I
that you
knew
say
what was
that.
going on.
I didn't.
I didn't either.
I
I'm
didn't
with
figure
you.
it out.
Watching it again, I was like, not know.
No.
It's like,
I've seen.
they,
I'd
like,
never seen this, and I
They
was looking forward to
telegraphed
seeing
it right
this.
at the beginning, like, okay, so the guy didn't kill the kid.
Okay, whoa.
Okay,
Right?
so and then this guy's kind of like getting into it, and then he's like with Bruce Willis half the time, and you're like, so he's working with Bruce Willis, like this got to be they just almost telegraphed the whole movie at the very beginning of the movie.
Okay,
like,
whoa. What's this movie about? I mean, I
Yes,
know we know,
Angie.
but let's start the plot.
Tell us about
Like, do you
why.
want like what the actual
Well,
plot?
just because before we get into the twist, because there are so many twists that
There's only
Hold
one.
on,
There's
hold on,
only one
hold on,
twist.
hold on,
no.
There's really only one twist.
wait,
No, there.
Angie famously told me in this on the way here.
Oh, I was just. Oh yeah. I'll say it. I was like, well, they pretty much spell it out for you, so I think Jess might like at least that much of it.
They do.
They spell it out for you. There's no ambiguity.
Okay.
So Jess must like that
He
much.
really does like say, this is what happened.
Yes.
I'm doing this because of this and
Yes,
this and this and this.
I know. It took like fucking 20 minutes for them to have. This was their like.
I mean, there was a lot of exposition at the end.
Yes,
they
there
don't leave it vague. They're like, I'm gonna kill you because of this.
And then you're like, well, why is he
It's
gonna kill
all
him? And then
exposition.
there's all this.
It's all-
The entire movie is exposition.
There is an argument for that, yes.
Okay, I yes, I appreciated them. Like,
I mean,
laying
they took
it out
they
for
took
me.
you by the hand, and
And
they
they
took
did,
you
they
probably
did
They
take
might as well have like
point,
opened a
and
book
then
and just read.
But the way it was done, though, okay. But before we get there, because I do have a, but there's more than one twist. No, there's
Was
more
there?
than. Yeah. Am I wrong? Am I
other than Lucy
Because
Liu,
I will
maybe?
defend that.
The only
Maybe.
the only twist for me was the Tucci twist.
The Tucci thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
You
that
don't
was
really
the
see that one
only
coming.
I
twist
think
for me.
but you got to admit they wanted the son to be a twist.
The
Oh, they
son.
wanted to. Yeah,
Right.
they
Josh
wanted.
Hartnett?
They wanted it to be a twist.
Josh
Yes,
Hartnett?
and being Josh.
Oh, yeah, they
Hartnett.
did,
So
yeah.
that mean there was more. There was that, and then the Stanley Tucci thing. But I mean, we'll get to that. But there's a big twist with him
Mhm.
being kind of like what?
Okay.
I mean, I'm
The
just,
Tucci
I'm doing it
twist.
for
The
the
Tucci twist.
Yeah.
The Tucci twist.
the old Tucci
We're-
twist.
We're gonna do the Tucci twist, boys.
Not to be confused.
You got the Kansas City Shuffle and the Tucci twist.
Not to be confused with the backwards cowboy.
Yeah.
About sex. How do we keep talking about sex positions?
I did not say it was a sex position.
I think the Tucci twist.
You're
is
going
You're going there.
Is it a sex position?
I'm not gonna say it. Never mind. I'm done.
Well, okay. So I just wanted to.
Tucci twist.
We
You
start.
never
We start
lived
off.
until you've done the Tucci twist.
Now we have new penguin lore.
Go ahead.
I guess I just wanted to start from the beginning.
Go ahead. No, we're
again.
fine. Go ahead.
No,
I'm more than happy
I
to.
just wanted to kind of
To
break it
begin,
down because
at the beginning.
start from the beginning.
In the beginning,
I'll just
there
throw
was
some-
Bruce
some-
Willis.
before we get into
No, go
the
ahead.
plot points and the Tucci twists and the whatnots and the wits,
Now, don't be dirty.
just
Talking dirty.
overall, when you look at the movies of this season, Red Dawn, Empire Records, Boondock Saints, Way of the Gun, and now Lucky Number Slevin. Of the five, I would say that this is the most polished, most produced, most put money in, professional looking film
With
of-
the
of
cast,
five.
they would
yeah,
have to.
it would have to be, right?
Yeah,
Right.
with the
It
cast,
is,
they would
it is
have
the
to.
most
I see what you mean, though. I see what you mean. It was
Hollywood.
very-
It is clean,
Well,
crisp.
yes, I agree with that.
I'm
The
actually kind
acting
of
is
surprised
good.
it only cost $27 million. There's so many names
Right, that's true.
in this
That's true.
movie.
I think the reason it got like Morgan Freeman and all these, when you read the script, like it's like very Tarantino-esque, where like they're trying to, like, especially between him and Lucy Liu, where they're trying to have these like Tarantino type conversations because they're trying to like make somewhat jokes, and they're being like really witty.
Oh
But
God, is
then-
this another comedy that I?
No,
was
it's
no,
like
I don't think this could be billed as a comedy.
elements.
This
There's
is a-
somebody in
This
it,
is
yes.
a crime drama mystery thriller.
I would throw comedy in there, but go ahead.
But then
There's some-
it gets very. My
It's
problem
trying to
with
be
this, I
something
didn't.
else.
It tried to do what John Wick does with like a whole world of like these two mob bosses live across the street from each other.
Yeah.
They run the city and blah blah blah. I didn't understand it. It didn't seem to like. I didn't understand like how it all worked. There, you know, it was like these like two my boss guys just and they're got goons run around and they grab people off the streets and like they own the city.
Yeah, I wouldn't, and that to me is where the film is really flawed and falls apart for me. Is if you look at it closely, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
And I think that was like I couldn't.
It just doesn't. I mean,
There's a reason why the critics hated it.
The whole idea that his plot is he's going to take the place of Nick so that these crime lords have to come get him so that he now has access to them to kill them is contingent on the fact that Bruce Willis went and saw each of them and told them to go get him.
No,
Bruce Willis
so
is already in their building.
They kill the son, the first son.
Yeah.
They do that just on their own.
Morgan
They just
Freeman's
kill him. They
son.
shoot him in the
Right.
street.
Morgan Freeman's son.
And so it makes Morgan Freeman think that the other guy,
That was a
the
twist
rabbi
too. I
did
thought
it.
too that he.
And
I
so
thought.
the only way they
Like
can
they
kill
were
the
like, I
rabbi
killed
is
him,
to
yeah.
get Bruce Willis to come back. So they they forced Morgan Freeman to make him come back. I just had a problem with the characters of Morgan Freeman and the
Ben
rabbi,
Kingsley.
like the whole plot of that, just like the world they built around those two guys. I couldn't buy it. It was like it just seems very weird to me.
and I see
forced.
Andy's
It
point.
was a small town with one street and like
Yeah.
it was like almost like
It
an
was-
old western was like
They served a purpose. It was like they needed.
I'm
They
just
needed
saying,
to
10
have.
minutes in, Bruce Willis had access to everybody.
well, and here's like to your
He's a
point.
world-class
what was-
assassin.
He
what
does
was
the
the
jobs no one
guarantee-
wants to.
Well, what was the guarantee that they were going to call him? They could have.
He's
They
El
could have
Duce.
called any other.
because he does the jobs no one wants to.
Well, yeah,
That's
but
what
he
they
can't
kept
be.
saying.
He can't be the only one
but he'd
that does
also been
it.
gone for 20 years.
No, there's also El Duce
he's been gone for
Boondock
20
Saints.
years, and so they killed Morgan Freeman's son, assuming or banking on the fact that he was
By
going
the
to
way,
get the
I
call.
completely missed that point.
Okay, because if it,
Yeah, oh, you
'cause
missed
it was
that?
basically
Yeah.
if
They were
the
trying to
Boondock
force the
Saints
hand.
knew that it was
Yeah.
their dad in prison and that the only way to
Does
get
it-
him was start to kill a bunch of mob people.
It actually tells you that,
that
Bruce
would be
Willis
like
killed
the
him.
plot.
It shows Josh Hartnett
It was
killing
Josh
him.
Hartnett,
Josh Hartnett kills him
and he said we did
From a high
that because
rise.
we had to get you
to get the ball rolling.
Well, to get
come to me.
'cause he wanted- yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Now I understand that
The
there's
whole-
no
how do you get in-
guarantee
how
that.
do you get into your two
And he-
fortresses? Like, I had to get you to come to me.
But it was a gamble.
Yeah.
It was a gamble because there's
Oh,
no
he wants
guarantee
me
they
to
would
kill
have
you.
called.
Kill him. I go over here. Hey, I don't want to kill you. Why don't you pay me? And now I can just go back and forth, and I can make you give me Josh Hartnett to go
Yeah.
do things because I'm going to do this favor for you because I'm the only one that can do it.
Yeah, it was also problematic for me that 20 years ago they hired Bruce Willis to do the one deed that no one else would do, and all they really did was hire Bruce Willis to take a kid, live
No,
20 years.
he was supposed to
raise
kill him.
Yeah, I know, but what ended up happening was they hired Bruce Willis, who ends up taking the kid, moving away for 20 years, waiting until the kid's old enough and coming back and killing him.
But that's
I
not. Well,
I think what you're supposed to assume is that they've like he's raised him
In the moment, Bruce
Right.
Willis had a change of heart.
We couldn't
right,
do it.
exactly.
Couldn't do
and
it. Took him out. Raised him as his own because even at the end of his name is Mr. Bad Dog or
No,
whatever.
Good Cat.
Like,
Good
no,
Mr.
no,
Good Cat.
no,
So
no,
that's
no,
the
Josh
play.
Hartnett.
Yeah.
Hartnett is bad dog.
Hartnett becomes like Bad Dog, and you have Good Cat
Okay.
and Bad Dog, right? And he's like, he raised him as his
Is it-
own.
'cause remember, he
Is
says
it wrong that I'm just
It's-
now
it's-
catching that?
It's just so. This movie
I
was
didn't-
so
I was
goddamn
curious where the
predictable.
bad
But-
dog was coming from.
Wait.
Until Kevin said that, I didn't get.
You didn't
bad
catch
dog.
the bad
Okay,
dog.
I'm
Good
gonna-
cat.
I'm gonna put
Yeah, neither
myself-
did I, and
I'm
I
gonna
like
put-
this movie.
I'm gonna put myself out there and be like, I'm gonna open myself up, so don't all be like Jessica,
Okay.
you big dummy. I was I thought the kid got killed at the beginning. They set it up. That's what they want you to think. I totally bought
Correct.
it. I
Oh,
bought
yeah.
it.
correct.
for
That
you.
is what they want you to think.
I know, and I bought it.
So did I.
I didn't know.
I bought it.
Oh,
I
good
didn't
for
know.
both of you.
And the other thing is that he was like, "You promised
I said
never to
good
work
for
in New
you
York."
guys. No, I'm sure that makes it a more enjoyable
It
film.
made it
Yes.
more
I mean,
of
for
a.
me,
Yeah, it would.
I had no idea. I mean, I assumed the kid lived.
Yeah,
Well, but then remember
I
he
didn't
says,
know.
"You promised you were never going to work in New York." I guess he like took the kid and was like, "Yeah, I'm never going to work in New York, guys. So don't bother me. I'm going to go." And he just went and raised the kid away from them, so they didn't even know the kid existed. And
Right.
then he made the kid grow up, and the kid learned how to be a hitman, I guess. And then was
Yeah.
like, "I want to kill the people who killed my parents." And he's like, "Okay, let's go do it. You ready?" Because
And here's
you
this
ready.
elaborate
And that's
plan.
that's how I read it.
And that's then he did all that to come back because he's like, "You never go work in New York." He's like, "Well, I got stuff. You want to say what's up, Yanks?" Ben Kingsley in this movie.
Yeah.
You just wanted to come to New York and say, how are the Yanks?
Well, it's almost like at that point he suspects he's up to something, right?
You can always tell when someone's lying.
Well, right, but he knows that, he wants to kill you because he thinks you killed him. Which the guy's like, I never killed a son.
Right.
It's very convoluted. Yes.
So
go ahead.
well, we start off with I didn't know. I thought he was being confused with Kevin Fisher. Kevin?
Yeah,
Nick
Nick.
Fisher.
Yep.
I really did. So I was
So did I.
going along with the movie thinking, just tell them he told them, but
Yeah.
I wish he could just prove it and it would end this whole, that's kind of how you think.
Had you never
I
seen
was
this?
on-
Had you never seen this movie?
No.
No, that's
I
fine.
had
No.
neither.
When I first saw it, I was just like you, like, oh, this is Nick Fisher, and
Yeah.
I didn't. But then watching it again, I'm like, man, this seems so obvious.
Yeah, I just went along with what they told me.
So did I.
I went along with what they told me.
Yes.
And
That's what I did. The first time I saw it, I went along with it.
The very first explanation of the 1979 event of what got us all here in the first place of the rigged horse race really intrigued me. I was like, man, that is some crazy shit. They're drugging the horse to fix the race. The horse dies. This guy loses all.
They kill the horse.
That whole explanation of what happened. That was very interesting. I was like, this is going to be good.
I didn't catch that they actually killed the horse to the last time I watched it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
they-
No,
And
they
I
killed.
didn't catch
Well,
that.
that was they.
I thought the horse had a heart attack.
The whole,
or something.
the whole point
they
is
drugged him.
no, they killed him.
They killed the horse.
They
The guy
made
says
an
that they killed
example
the
of they
horse,
killed
the
the horse,
jockey.
they killed the
Right.
jockey, they killed the bookie.
He says
they
the horse
killed
lasted, I
everybody
believe.
that was involved in that
Right.
race
Well-
with that horse.
Which helped explain to me why they're in the parking lot at the race to get the money
right.
so
yeah,
quickly.
yeah.
Right?
I bought all
Because
that.
they knew going into the race they were killing this whole the crew.
Yes,
And
they
when
stopped,
everyone-
they stopped it from winning, and then they were going
Right.
to kill everybody involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. They
To make
they
that-
just
And
made
because he
it-
made
right.
such a big bet, he must have been in on it.
because they were just beginning. This was like the genesis of them
Of
two becoming
Ben Kingsley,
bigwigs.
yeah.
Of Ben
Right.
Kingsley
They were
and
still
Morgan
on the,
Freeman
on
becoming
the same side of
bigwigs.
things.
Yeah,
at
They
that
were
were
still
still working
together.
together.
They
Yeah,
were
they
still
were
working
business
together.
partners, yeah.
This is the genesis.
Yep.
I think I
And-
would have rather seen that movie.
and
than
they-
come
and
out.
I
so-
know that was
Yes,
really
they did.
interesting.
And
So
so,
I
and
could've-
That
so-
would have been way
and-
better.
And so they had to make an example because we're just getting started and we don't want people to screw us over. This is what happens if you screw us over. Everybody dies.
Because even like
So you, your horse, your wife, your kids screw us over and your entire line dies.
and because in the 20 minutes, in the 20 years, even the cops are like, there's a myth goes around about this thing happening, and like no one really knows, but it's their reputation. Like, hey, did
Yeah.
you hear that they did this?
Well, maybe I got it wrong, but I thought that the beginning of the tear apart for the two was the death of Morgan Freeman's son. I thought that was what the fallout.
No.
No.
They had
They
a
fell out
fallout.
before
I don't
that.
think they really explain it.
before.
I
They
don't-
don't,
I
they
don't
don't tell
recall
you what.
either.
I
You
thought
don't
they
get
said-
the,
He kind of says like they were calling you boss, and so he
Yeah.
can't
It was
take that
jealousy.
anymore. Yeah, they were calling Morgan Freeman boss, and he didn't want to.
Yeah.
he
Can't
didn't want
have
to be
two.
involved.
because he's
big.
the boss. You can't have two
Yeah.
Well, the
bosses.
whole movie for me boils down to the opening scene where you see Nick Fisher sitting there and Bruce Willis is in a wheelchair. To me, the whole movie is that 5 minutes of Bruce Willis telling exposition and then breaking his neck when he could have just broke his neck because the guy was laying there asleep. Like there was no
Yeah.
need. There was no need for any of that.
No, he has them for the time. You see the watch. The watch plays a role later on
Yeah,
in the
that's
movie.
true. That is true.
But that's what I'm saying, Angie. Is all that is just. I mean, he could have just killed the guy.
Could
Right.
have, and then
Yeah.
they could have showed you a close shot of the watch.
I think she's saying you had to have the exposition because because Bruce Willis asks in the time, right?
Right. The whole scene is about
So
just
he has to
giving
wake him up, I think
exposition
is what
so
she's-
that we as an audience can understand what we're saying.
I appreciated
Right.
the explanation.
Yeah.
But you're
But
right.
that's what the
It
whole
could be
movie
both.
feels like about 2
Well,
hours.
but
of
that's where you
exposition.
but that's where you also get like the whole Kansas City Shuffle. You get
Right,
the exposition.
that's
You
true.
have to get the exposition.
You know what the Kansas
from,
City Shuffle is?
from Bruce Willis. I
Well,
have
the
the
Kansas
quote.
City Shuffle boils down to a song on the radio when he was taking the kid out of New York.
I think it's a term.
It's,
for
a,
something.
it's
No,
also it's
it's-
also a grift.
It's the grift, yeah, because he says, "Hang
That's
on."
the way he explains it. But at the end of the movie,
But I think-
you
I
see
think
him
which- I
driving
think
away with
Andy's
the
right.
kid
I
listening
think-
to the song.
I
Kansas
think
City
he's
Shuffle.
calling the kid the Kansas City Shuffle, as in the kid. This is like his grift. It's about the kid. It's not like, hey, we're gonna. What was that movie where they were like, they named off the like heist that they would do, and they had all these weird names. I can't think of it, but
Ocean's 11.
it's kind of sort of where they
Yes.
have like heist, like we're going to do this,
Yeah.
and it's like we're going to do
Yeah.
the, oh, we're
Well,
gonna do that
but we
kinda-
needed this. Yes, it is Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm just correct me if I'm wrong. We saw this last night, but that Good Cat and Nick, that's the opening scene, right?
correct.
Yes.
He tells the story of the
Right, and that introduces the whole backstory with the horse, right? Because that's
Correct.
I have the quote right here. Because the right before that goes, Good Cat goes. He says, "It's no small." He's talking about the Kansas City Shuffle. It's no small matter. Requires lots of planning. Involves lots of people. People connected only by the slightest of events, like whispers of the night. In that place that never forgets, even when those people do, it starts with a horse. So he's like setting up the whole thing where it's saying this isn't about me. This isn't about anything about us. This is about the, you're about to see an interwoven tale, and you got to look at everything as a piece of a clue, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I caught his quote, I only caught bits and pieces of it because it's so hard to hear, but when I finally read that, I realized, I was like, of course. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I picked up on it was you're looking at it and it's just so blatantly obvious that, I mean, spoiler alert, Josh Hartnett did it.
Well,
You know,
good
Josh
for you.
Hartnett's the butler.
Yeah, I didn't.
I didn't
just-
catch it.
I
The
didn't.
first
But,
time
I mean-
the first time I saw it, because I didn't try. I wasn't trying to catch anything. I was just
Yeah.
watching the movie for what was
one of
presented
those things is
as
I
it was
didn't know
presented.
what it was. Like I didn't know. Oh, it's supposed to be like an M. Night Shyamalan movie,
Right,
So it was
exactly.
like it was
I didn't-
kind of
I
like
didn't
how-
know.
if for a lot of people who watch The Sixth Sense, it's very telegraphed of what happens. But people are just like, oh, this is like a movie about a kid who sees ghosts.
I want to say because I've seen the number.
And like
the
this is
movie-
supposed to be a movie about a guy that just is confused with some other people for some reasons. And like if you don't think too hard about it, you just kind of Now You See Me is another great movie that like kind of like does a lot of stuff. And then like when you rewatch it, you're like, this movie's stupid.
Well, when it first came out in the preview and the setup was he's the wrong guy in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he gets caught up in this crazy shenanigans.
Kooky shenanigans.
Yeah, crazy
Yeah,
kooky
and then-
shenanigans. And that's the way it was set up. To be honest with you, the first time I saw it, I can't say 100% that I knew he was the kid. I've seen this movie like 2 or 3 times now. Actually, probably closer to 6 or 7 since I've watched it twice over the last 48 hours. But
That's how much you like this movie.
I
Watch
am-
it multiple
but-
times.
I'm thinking this is going to be another very
overall,
low flipper movie.
When I say it boils down to that opening scene, I mean that opening scene is fairly pointless to what happened. I mean, he's there to kill Nick, but because you're watching a movie that has to explain itself, we have to listen to him give us all the exposition, and then he kills the kid, which he could have killed. I mean, he says, "What about some time?" Or there was a time, and the guy tells it's 12:30 or whatever. When he could have just killed the kid. The kid's just sitting there sleeping, so he didn't have to do any of the exposition.
But maybe
That
he
exposition-
needed to see the
that
watch or something.
exposition
I
is
don't
for
know.
us.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, no, he knew who he was. I mean, his name was on his luggage.
Which you
He
found
went
out
there to
later.
the airport to find him.
Why was the airport?
He was
not-
He
why
was running.
no one there.
Oh, was no one there? That was a good question. Yeah, I mean, it's New York. It's a really busy terminal.
That
Why
was
was
weird.
there
I
no
thought
people
it was
around?
a dream. I was like, is this a dream or something?
They spent all the budget on the actors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You remember when he was
no
like,
extras
wake up.
allowed.
Open your eyes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Guys.
I don't know. Why wasn't there anyone there? I don't know. And then we move on to what happens next.
So then Josh Hartnett's
Where
in
do they
the.
go? Oh,
was
yeah,
he
he
at an
goes-
airport or was he at a bus station?
Was it a bus station?
Oh, I thought it was an
No,
airport.
It doesn't
there was
matter.
some
There's
lady.
just
There's another lady sleeping there that looked like
It just looked like
that
airport
wasn't
chairs.
Maybe it was a bus station.
I don't know.
I thought it
And
was-
You know
It doesn't
what?
seem like
It
a-
might have been a bus station because this is a dude that owes a lot of money. I don't know if he'd have the money to
Yeah.
fly somewhere.
Well, I mean,
That's true.
it's not like he had a crappy apartment in New York. I don't know.
Right? That's a big.
Anyways,
But maybe he's
wallpaper
taking the
in those
bus
apartments.
it's harder to follow him. I don't
She
know.
said wallpaper.
Yeah.
The wallpaper in
The
this
wallpaper
movie.
in this movie
Oh,
is
God.
it's a character in
Yeah,
itself.
it is.
What the what?
Yes, there's so
My
much too much
God.
wallpaper.
Are you
I like
trying
the
to Wes
wallpaper.
Anderson this movie? Stop it.
I like the use of the wallpaper, especially when he goes from in that one scene where you find out later they go back and you have to have a flashback to see that Bruce Willis met him in the hallway, and you see that wallpaper, so it's very clearly he's outside. This is before he returned to Lucy Liu, and he found out that she was going to have to be killed. Yeah.
Okay.
That wallpaper helps you place that scene in time and space.
Okay.
It's definitely noticeable.
Yeah.
Well, I think it had to be purposeful.
It was
there.
fine.
So,
It was, I don't
so
have a
that when you do the
problem with it.
flashback, you can place
I just
that
noticed it.
scene in time and space. Because they show him purposely walking. They want you to see it because he's walking down in front of it. He goes from the building across the street wallpaper to the wallpaper of the apartment before he returns to Lucy Liu. Because he's been to, and you don't realize it, but Bruce Willis actually met him in that hallway and said, "Hey, your girlfriend made me."
Which
Yeah.
they were just met. That's another problem I have with this movie.
What do you mean?
They just met, and then
Like, she just ran into
in
him.
the
How
end of
does-
the movie, it's his love of the. I mean, I get it that
Those
you like
couple
her.
days, love at first sight.
I get it
Those
that you
couple
like
days
her.
together,
and
they
she's
just-
adorable. Lucy Liu is adorable in this movie as Lindsay, and but when we find out she's a coroner, it ruined that for me because I'm like,
It would have been a better movie. I don't know. Josh Hartnett may be onto something. It would have been a better movie if it had been like a story about those two meeting and like some kind of
Yes,
like
they were
love
cute.
story. It probably would have been a better movie.
But to me, the coroner, her
What?
being a coroner, was
Then-
so contrived.
I enjoyed
You,
it.
think,
will.
you think it should have been a rom-com versus a crime drama mystery thriller?
I think he's saying
I think I enjoyed the conversations and when Lucy Liu was on the screen.
It should have been
And
a
so-
rom crime drama com.
No, I'm just maybe if it was like his friend and she really came over and he just happened to be over there and so blah 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 and like cut out all the mobster and him getting kidnapped and all that other like stuff and just like worked on their relationship. I enjoyed the scenes with them in it together because it was like about those two people.
Yeah, I
and, like,
think
they built
they
those
had good
characters.
chemistry
They did,
together.
yeah.
But then
they
it was
had
like
chemistry.
then he
true.
like walks out in this crazy world where it's like a whole different movie's happening.
Right,
Because
exactly.
he's Slevin.
Exactly.
Her opening scene with him is fantastic.
He's
When she
Slevin
comes over to borrow
Kadavra.
sugar,
Yep. Yeah,
and he's
great
in the
scene.
and he's wrapped in a towel.
He was in
and
the
so
towel the first
he
45
lived
minutes.
with
Yeah.
he lived
Oh,
with
he was, yeah.
Yes.
Because
He
he got like taken to an office in
They
the
wa-
towel.
So he lived with the director when the writer when he wrote the movie, and he was so used to seeing him in a. And he was going to make him in them because I think he did Wicker Park right before this.
Mhm.
The guy wrote that, and he wrote Lucky Number Slevin, and he lived with him. He was so used to always seeing him in a towel, he was going to make.
Wear a
Dude, that's
towel
awesome.
in the movie.
And he thought it made him more vulnerable. That character more vulnerable
Yeah.
because he's in a
That
towel.
makes sense.
That would make me
And early
vulnerable.
on, he needs
Yeah.
to look vulnerable if you're gonna be tricked by the idea that he's actually the guy.
And all shucks,
Yeah.
I just
Pulling all
walked into the
strings.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
got
walked into my
mug.
friend who's a child molester.
Yeah, that was icky.
What do you, child molester?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because he's like,
No,
oh,
but
he
Nick
went to
has
jail
always
for.
been getting him into scrapes and.
But he was like,
But
we
Since
picked a
we were
guy
kids.
who had an 8-year stint for having sex with a 14-year-old.
he
And
came,
I'm
he
like,
came on
oh,
to the
and
no,
he's his friend.
I think he just came on to the 14-year-old, right? Like
You don't
I
get-
don't think they.
You get 8
I
years
don't know,
for
maybe
coming on.
They threw that out just
I
But it
don't
was
know.
at the very end of the movie,
Oh,
so
he
it's
was
not
in
like you were
prison
thinking
for
the guy
years?
was a
I
child.
guess
just
I
to
missed
make you
that.
feel a little
Well,
more
that's what he
comfortable
just said.
about the fact that
I
they
apparently
picked
missed
him.
it.
And they killed him. Yeah,
I
because
heard
I mean,
something-
that's just like you just killed a guy because he owed money. That's kind of like they aren't the heroes of the movie because they come across as like, hey, we're just gonna kill the bad guys this whole movie. And if you kill Nick, it's like, well, you just killed a guy for no reason to start this whole thing. Like, what did he do? Maybe his family's going to come after you.
Well, they did that
But
with the
then
son.
they're like
too.
trying to make it like, oh, he's a scumbag, so don't feel bad about him.
They did that to the son, Morgan Freeman's son. They killed him for no reason, just to
Well,
start
no.
the.
Well,
War.
but
Well,
and that
I don't
was
think these are
important.
good guys. These are not good guys.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
but it was
they're
important.
not.
But you felt like it was to start the war too, yeah?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it was
they
to
had
start the
kill-
war.
Well,
But-
no,
but-
and
but
it
you're
was
not-
it
war
was
was
to
already
take
going on.
everything away from him.
Oh.
Like they did to him.
They needed to get.
And so he had a reason for killing them.
Well,
like,
yeah,
I'm
but
going to kill the
like-
son because I want you to feel what I did, what I lost. So I'm going to kill your son like I lost my parents.
I'm gonna kill the people you
Well,
love.
yeah.
Because at the
but
end of
I
the
mean,
movie, he
the
says,
son
"You killed
was-
everything.
But-
I did the same thing to you."
But like, you don't know that the son was following in his father's footsteps.
Right. We haven't
you
heard
assume
anything
he
about the
might have
son.
been, but you don't know that
I
he was.
just
You
take
don't
it
know
as
he
like
was a bad
there
guy.
was vengeance, and
Yes.
like that guy just like, hey, sucks to be you, but
Yes,
you
it
shouldn't
was.
have been
It
born by
was
this guy.
vengeance, but like these two aren't. They're not good guys. Josh Hartnett is not a good guy. Bruce Willis is not a good guy. These
No,
are
they're
assassins.
assassins.
These are assassins.
I know, but they're right. But they're
But I mean,
not.
I'm just saying they don't hurt anyone in this movie. That like they tried to make a point, like everybody they killed
Is a bad guy.
Or they had a very good reason to do it.
But killing
Like, they
someone, I don't.
Like, if we just picked Nick because he owed $96,000, like, oh, you owed a bookie. I mean, it's not like you're like having sex with 14-year-olds. Oh, wait, no, you are? Okay, yeah. Then I don't mind you breaking his neck. It kind of makes them the heroes in the movie.
I see. You think they threw that in there just so you didn't feel bad about them killing Nick? Because everybody else.
Right. Kind of like how we were confused in Boondock Saints about them killing the two guys in the windows.
Did you say Boondock?
Boondocks.
It sounded like Bone Dog.
There's a bone.
Bone dogs.
Is that another?
It's the Boondocks Saint.
The bone.
Anyway.
Anywho,
I
There
still
are
think-
some really good.
I still think
like,
killing Morgan's Freeman's son was not. There was no justification for that, except for their own
Revenge.
It's
except
revenge.
for their
It
own
was the snowball.
revenge.
It was revenge, and it was the snowball that started the avalanche. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
And
There were.
Yeah.
I was just saying there's some good like dialogue exchange in this movie. There is like
there's some
some
great dialogue. Yeah.
good dialogue that's written. I like the dialogue between the two henchmen that originally come and get him for
Elvis.
Elvis and Slow.
And Slow.
That was,
Slow and
Bubba
Elvis.
Gump.
I
Bubba Gump.
really enjoyed
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
that was.
But when they finally bring him and Josh Hartnett is talking to the I guess the bodyguard that's in the room. He said, I thought he was the boss. And Morgan Freeman goes, why does it look like me?
And what were you trying? He said. Then he's like, "What were you trying to tell me?" Well, I wasn't trying to tell you anything. I was telling him when I thought he was you.
Exactly. Like there's a couple of good times, even like with the rabbi and with the boss, that you have this kind of really good back and forth discussion between Josh Hartnett and whomever.
And that's what I mean by
playing
like them trying to like Tarantino the movie.
Yeah, no, there are like I will give this movie like for as predictable and for as much as it
Cliched.
insists upon itself.
Oh my goodness.
I think he was trying to be a fun movie in that genre of shoot 'em up with some humor and a good story.
I
But
like-
was
there
it a
was-
comedy?
No,
I think it has
God.
it's like the
Now,
one,
if you would have told me this was a comedy,
thriller
what's
drum
the one
Then I
comedy.
would
with
have really hated
David Carradine and Nicolas Cage, and they're running around shooting it's like a mafia cop story. I mean, it's in
David
that genre.
Carradine and
David
Nicolas
Carradine
Cage?
and Nicolas Cage.
I said David.
You
I say
did?
David?
Do you mean Face Off?
No.
That's right. John
Wait,
Travolta
he's
and
like-
Nicolas
Now,
Cage.
Face Off would have been
No.
No.
but it.
No, but it's like the one with the Bill Murray and Robert De Niro. And,
Wait, are you
and
changing
one
Are you
the
just
mafia.
naming actors now?
No, I'm just naming different movies.
Nick
without
Bill
knowing the names of
Nolte
the
and
movies.
Gary Busey.
Bill
Did they do a
Murray.
movie together?
Bill Murray and Robert De Niro were in a movie together.
Yeah, Bill Murray plays the comedian, and David Carradine's in that one too.
Jesus.
Who
Is
was
it
you
David?
thinking?
Is David Carradine the redhead that did the?
David Carradine's
David
Kung Fu,
Carradine
the
is
legendary-
David
called-
Caruso.
Yeah, David
Caruso.
Caruso.
David
David
Caruso.
Caruso.
Okay.
Yes, with Nicolas Cage. I love that movie.
Blue Steel or something.
No,
You know what I'm talking
Not-
about, though. It's got humor and it's
Blue.
but it's a cop and a bad guy, villain, mafia.
and
Shoot
Samuel
'em
Jackson's in
up.
it. His
Kiss
like
of Death?
Kiss of Death.
Yeah.
There you go, kiss of death.
Fuck with the bull, you get the horns.
But
I don't
there was a
like
whole
metal in my
period that we
mouth.
went through for about 10 years of people making these movies, and I think this is one of those.
I would agree with that. I don't think it's.
He
I-
said Tarantino. I think Tarantino did his share of these.
Well, I'm just saying, like it was. It
But
seemed
Tarantino
to
did it
like
well.
they were like, I'm going to be the
I would
next
agree with
Tarantino,
that,
and I'm going
too.
to make like very witty dialogue, which I liked a lot of it.
Yeah.
They just don't have the story structure that.
Yeah.
Yes,
No. Yes.
absolutely. This
That's- I can agree with that.
This is a clone kind of wannabe movie,
And that's
of a
probably
Tarantino.
what maybe
That's how it
Willis
came off.
thought this was, because he was in Pulp Fiction. Maybe
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
thought like this. Reading
No,
the
Bruce
script.
Willis is someone who
maybe
will-
a red like that.
I put it like
Yeah.
this: if you paid him enough money, he'd do your movie.
Well, I know.
think
but,
I read something
well,
or heard
maybe.
something somewhere that whenever he signs on, he comes on automatically as a producer or something like. It's
More
part of-
money.
yeah, he gets a writing credit or a producer credit. He gets added as some sort of same thing like with Stallone. Like whatever he does, he gets his name on a lot of the stuffs.
Okay.
So
the stuffs.
yeah, whatever he can. The more I think about it, I'm trying to telegraph my flipper rating,
Yeah.
And
it's going to be down. I anticipate it.
Yeah, it will. I mean, but the more I'm trying to think about it, I enjoyed how Josh Hartnett played his part. I'm thinking that I'm really just disagreeing with the director's choices and maybe like some of the writer's choices, because the actors did a good job. I think Josh Hartnett did a good job in his part and delivering the lines.
I think he did a good job at coming across as a bumbling little like, I'm just caught in this thing when he's supposed to, and then all of a sudden he's an assassin.
Yeah, because the editing and the writing and all that stuff, putting it all together, to me it seemed real predictable and really really flat, and I was just waiting for it to end so I could be like, oh, of course that was the reveal.
I just still have a problem with her being a coroner. I just think that was
really
too. Because it was too.
Well, that makes a rough scene when Stanley Tucci's watching them at dinner, right? Because he can't recognize her.
That's what bothered me.
Yeah. That's a plot hole.
Yes.
Well, he says I can't get a good look of her.
But all he had to do was walk.
But they had to say that to explain why he doesn't.
Yes.
But he doesn't recognize this woman that he interacts with regularly.
To me, that boils down what the whole film is.
That bugged me.
Yeah.
I can't recognize her.
We just can't see her. Gosh darn it! And it's like,
does
just
he actually
walk
say
5
that,
feet
or is that
way.
an ADR line?
No, he says.
You actually see his mouth say that?
Yeah,
he says he couldn't.
Okay.
He couldn't recognize.
Okay. I don't remember if they could have
I can't get a good view of the woman.
That's a plot hole. Bring Tooch in.
And it was
Tooch the scene.
The fact that they were working together and didn't know that they were involved together.
I didn't mind her being a coroner. I understand that it's very contrived and it really helps drive the plot.
Scene. Blood
but they're interconnected.
But I also like her in Elementary.
Even by the slightest.
And she's Elementary.
Whatevers.
Oh yeah,
I really like her in Elementary.
I do too. I like
love
that show. Yeah,
and she's a doctor there. So I mean, she's
it's not that she couldn't play it. It just I felt like it was just
written
contrived to make her, because she needed to be in on.
Does she say she's a coroner anytime?
Yes, she does.
When, like at the beginning with him?
Yes.
Well, because
she's like, I have to go to work.
I'm a coroner.
She tells him something she heard at work or something, and he's just like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh, did I not tell you I'm a coroner?"
Yeah,
coroner.
Yeah, At first, I was like, "Is this real?"
She's the only part of the plan that he doesn't.
She's the
count on,
surprise
right?
element,
but it helps him,
right?
Which explains how she can afford that expensive apartment. I don't know how.
I mean, I don't care about that. I mean, that's all fine. It's not that I didn't believe her. I just thought it was like thrown in there so she could know a little bit what was going on without him telling her, because he couldn't tell her. So he couldn't tell her anything. Right. So she had to
piece things together.
I don't think at first he had any plan to tell her.
No.
Not until he.
I don't think so either.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at
all. The moment that they went on the date and they go home and she leaves her door open and he follows her in is when his mind changed what was going to happen. And he goes out to buy coffee. He gets taken by the one group, has another conversation, comes back, and we see later that Bruce Willis met him in the hall before he returned. So at that moment is when he decided to save her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's an alternate ending where she does not get saved.
Where he kills her,
and
right?
And that the audience hated it.
Yeah, Josh Hartnett kills her.
Not because of her, but just because of the real. That would have been actually the most real thing, or one of the most real things that happened, if she actually would have died.
They couldn't be the good guys that Doug's
and that's
talking
right,
about anymore.
That means they killed like an innocent person.
They killed an innocent person.
Like, it had nothing to do with anything.
Now, Good Cat wanted to.
Right, that's what I mean.
Good Cat
actually tried to kill an innocent person.
But I mean,
Good Cat.
But Good Cat's never been portrayed as like, Josh Hartnett almost tries to come across as like, and Good Cat's a guy who they sent to kill the kid.
Well, because
and the reason he did that is because he does those types of things.
Well, Josh Hartnett was wrong.
Exactly.
He was genuinely wronged in his life.
Right, and so they try to make it come across that Josh Hartnett Josh Hartnett's a little Kansas City Shuffle, which he is. They only like people that deserved it. Oh, they feel deserved
What's that movie, The Professional or Leon, where he ends up with the little girl and he raises her to get
which
that's
he doesn't
a much
raise
better
her.
Version of this, yeah?
He doesn't raise her.
He just ends up with her.
He keeps her for a short while, for a couple of weeks.
But he trains her to be a assassin.
Well, I mean,
not really.
Not really.
Okay.
It's an excellent movie. It's a spectacular movie.
Like in the book, he lusts after her or whatever. It's like something really gross.
It is gross. Yeah, they take that right out of the movie, which I appreciate. The movie is spectacular.
Well, it's French.
There is an American version, yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking
with
of.
like Portman.
With
Yeah, no,
Gary
no,
Oldman.
like
Well, yes,
but
he's
the
talking about
story is
the
French.
story is
That's what I'm saying.
French.
They took some of the
Right.
a lot of the stuff out.
It's kind of
From
like
the story
that.
to make the movie.
La Femme Nikita and Point of No Return are the same movie, almost shot for shot, but one's American and one's French.
I like Point of No Return.
I've never
Is that-
seen.
You never seen La Femme
I
Nikita?
like it.
River
I'm
Phoenix. Is that River Phoenix? Who's in that?
Brigitte Fonda.
Bridget Fonda.
I may have. I don't remember. I saw the other one first.
I saw both. They're good. Same shot for shot though.
Really?
What
It's
is
kind of
what
like
did-
Psycho.
What did
and the
y'all
remake.
think about Josh Hartnett's hair? It seemed like he was wearing a wig to me. His
I thi-
sideburns were
That's-
I thought
odd.
his
That's
broken
his hair.
nose was well done.
Yeah, broken nose was well done. That's just his hair. It's all part of this Cro-Magnon look.
Well, I know when he was in the Halloween movie, his hair was odd. But this
I just thought it was
was
hair. I didn't like notice it at all.
No,
I
go
didn't
back
really
and look.
either.
Look at his sideburns. His sideburns are
Yeah, I didn't notice him.
they're just
Which is
yeah.
probably
It's weird. They're weirdly long. His sideburns are weirdly long and straight.
Right.
Like it's like he could comb he could comb his sideburns down and like probably braid them.
Okay.
It's just weird.
Like he's like Wolverine. Like
No.
his cheeks.
No, it's like it hangs. It's like hair that hangs down.
Oh, but it's not like attached to his cheek.
Yeah,
Like they,
not
exactly. Like they shave the part that attaches to his face and
And
just
then made
like
it
these
grow out
instead
like
of
that.
instead of
Yeah.
bangs, he's got like
He's got
bangs.
sideburn
It's like
bangs.
Like sideburn bangs.
He's got side bangs. Yeah, cheek bangs.
Cheek bangs.
cheek bangs.
Yeah,
cheek
just-
bangs.
Maybe he like can't grow facial hair, so he has to like.
Oh no! This,
he's got a comb over. He's got a burns over. But that's what it looked like. It just like looked like two strands of hair just like flopped
yeah,
down,
I don't think he can grow facial hair.
which is it's weird
He
looking.
doesn't have like a full beard in any picture I can find.
Okay.
Maybe I don't
Why
know.
are you a facial hair list?
I don't know. I
facial hair
can't
elitist
grow
over
facial
here.
hair very well either. So more.
But, hey,
I'm
I
not
will say-
shaming.
Yeah,
but
you
his-
have a.
I'm talking
you have
about
a
his
nice set of
hair.
sideburns. Though.
I'm talking about his hair on his head.
I think I don't know the moments I've noticed. I remember his hair being really super messy when he went to talk to someone, either the rabbi or the boss or
Well,
something.
they never
And
let him
and
get ready
fixed
to go
it,
see
and
him.
He licked his hand and like fixed his hair, and I just thought,
Actually,
this
yeah,
guy just
I
woke
think
up.
his hair actually stands out in that point because of how messy it is. And I don't
Right,
feel like
right.
it was that messy on the way there. But
Right.
then he gets there and it looks like he just
I
woke
noticed,
up.
yeah.
I did enjoy how
I
it
think
was
that's
like.
the after Lucy and Lou and he slept
They
together.
were in. Yes.
And then he gets up to go buy
That was
coffee.
after sex.
I did enjoy how
Yeah,
it was
it was
like
after sex hair.
the boss sends the two guys, and then the rabbi sends the two guys. It's like the same exact like,
Process
yeah,
and procedure.
situation, and
Right.
I thought
They're
that was-
mirrored.
That was humorous. I want to know why the guy wouldn't talk. Did they ever say that?
Oh well, you got to ask him.
Yeah.
But he's not going to tell you.
They kill those guys.
Yeah.
They all die.
They all did.
oh
They
yeah,
kill
big
Elvis the Slow. They kill Izak
What's
the fairy.
the?
Another
Or a
not
TV show.
another not PC.
We
Yeah.
did do a
For
whole
some
episode
reason,
about their
he kills
family.
the bodyguards.
Oh yeah, the henchman.
Yeah, the Mossad agents.
How he didn't come home.
No, didn't-
Which he was going to blow
He's
up
Josh
that
Hartnett.
floor of the building
He's got a
anyway,
daughter
so
waiting
Yeah.
at home and a son with a
So,
baseball and a
unnecessary
bat.
risk.
They come. The fellow henchmen come with a folded henchman flag.
Lucky Number Slevin 2.
Unlucky Slevin.
Slevin.
He's coming after Josh Hartnett.
She never,
Your
they
luck's
show
run
the
out.
scene where she has the bodies in the morgue and she's the coroner.
God.
And it's actually the dead
so
Nick
annoying.
wearing the correct watch.
Yes,
But
it's
they
so
never
annoying.
show her like think it's him.
But didn't they say
because
that his
by that point she already knows.
She starts figuring it
Because
out.
that's
But
when
you
she
never
gets shot.
You never see her notice the watch.
Well,
or
but
do
isn't
anything
she
I
where
else.
thought she did notice the watch.
She did.
She
notice
looked
the
at it.
watch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But who
Yeah, they have a
who didn't have
close-up of
finger?
it.
Yeah.
He didn't
Well, they
have
have a close up of the watch, but I
or
don't, see,
jaw.
I don't remember her.
Yeah, you don't have a
saying
jaw.
anything to it or saying
Maybe I
anything.
don't know. Maybe
Yeah, he
she's
couldn't
like,
get,
I
couldn't
don't
get
know.
dental records.
It's a scene where
They
she's
ripped
shot.
the jaw off.
Yes. I don't think she said anything what you're talking about, Andy. I think we're supposed to look at her face and see that she's figuring it out. Right? Do you agree?
What from the
From the watch and the burned body and his teeth
Yeah.
are gone. They can't figure out who it is. And
And
while
I think
Stanley
she
Tucci
sees
is
the watch.
talking.
Yeah.
she's figuring it out.
I think you can look at it one of two ways. Either she helped him out by getting rid of the bottom jaw, because he knows he's supposed to go see the gay son, right? But at this point, he's already told her that Bruce Willis wants to kill her. Right. So she knows what's going on.
But my question is, they bother putting the watch on the bottom, and they get rid of the jaw, and they get rid of the fingers to make this guy be someone who doesn't exist. Slevin and Culebra, who doesn't exist. So how does this watch belong to someone who doesn't? Again, it's like the
wait. Was it okay?
They don't want him to be. They don't want him to be found out to be Nick. They don't want them to find out he's Nick.
Can I ask a question?
He's Nick.
Okay, just let me. I need to ask this. Help. When they killed, oh my God, who did they kill? The son of the rabbi. Did they bring Nick Fisher's body in there?
Yes, they did.
Right, that was him. Right,
yes, they did. That was Nick Fisher. That's why they didn't kill him. Because for the Kansas City Shuffle, you need a dead body.
Okay, so when they blew up the place, that's the
body you can't identify.
Right. So who took his teeth out?
The jaw. Either it got lost in the blast, or she took it.
But why couldn't they take it?
I don't think she did either.
Well, they took his fingerprints off, so why wouldn't they just take the jaw?
But he was burned.
Yeah. They prepared the body for the
explosion.
And
then they just left it there, right?
Yeah. Well, but when they bring it in, you see its face.
And put the watch on.
I didn't know they did all of that to him before the explosion. I thought just the explosion like burned him so bad, but then they mentioned the jaw, and I was like,
it was like not there before, like they had done it before.
Oh, I thought they showed the body. I thought you got to see them bring him in, and he still had a complete face.
I saw the face. Yes,
he had a complete face when they brought him in. So, are you saying that
they did it there?
They did it there.
Sure.
Okay. Sure.
Because because he's dating her, he got access to the coroner place. I mean, that's kind of how he's done his whole thing.
Well, when they killed him, they could have just taken his body. They could have put him.
When do you think?
Where did they take his body from the station?
After Stanley Tucci was there. When do you think
he puts the body in the wheelchair and rolls it out?
Yeah, but where do they keep him until they need him?
Probably a cooler, freezer somewhere.
But when do you think he killed? When do you think he tried to kill Lucy Liu?
Refrigerator the whole time.
After he talked to Stanley Tucci. After Stanley Tucci, we were talking to her. How far along after do you think it was that Bruce Willis walked in? There
I don't know.
Shoot her? Like right after. Like he killed Tucci and he killed Lucy Liu at the same time.
He didn't kill Tucci there though.
He killed him in the parking lot because he got the phone call. Or was that?
Tucci's not killed till almost the last
by Josh Hartnet.
Yeah,
but he had just found out, or they were doing cutaway scenes, weren't they? Like
when he gets the
vignettes
call,
or whatever.
Well, I think when he gets the call in the coroner's office, he's getting the call for Ben Kingsley and
because Ben Kingsley hasn't come to see the son.
Mm-hmm.
But what they call him is like we found two more bodies. I think the two bodies they found are Ben Kingsley and Morgan Freeman.
Because Slevin is there killing them two right at that moment. I got you.
And then
what a good actor to pick for one phone call scene too.
The exposition at the end.
Yeah, the exposition cop.
That guy was.
Well, that's the guy I thought Jess would be all over.
That's not
so you remember that old guy that comes around every now and then and likes to talk to the old young. He likes to talk to the new guys.
Let me tell you this yarn he just told me.
Yeah.
But first, let me tell you about how he's over here complaining like usual, and you're like, oh my God.
Hey,
you're just going to do exposition, so just get it out. Like, I don't need
he goes over there and he sees the name, Slevin, and he just about falls over.
But he's not looking at the picture. He's looking at the picture, but it's not about the picture. It's about the name.
Yeah.
And the name. Yeah. Come on. Ugh.
The name of the horse.
The name.
What's Lucky Number Slevin?
Why did nobody, this whole movie, not one person said, Slevin Caballera. That's unique.
Yeah, right? Calabra.
Well,
Slevin,
because
have you ever met someone named Slevin?
No.
My question.
But I've never met somebody named Abner either.
Sorry.
Well, you know what? And I think the point of it is because he's like, I'm not Nick. I'm Slevin Culebra, and they're like, okay, buddy, you're Nick. Like, it's like
I know
that's the best name you can come up with. I'm
You don't think
I'm April Notebook. It's like, okay, buddy. Yep. You're Nick.
My name's Darth Table.
As does he ever say his name he never says
he said
not to Ben Kingsley or to
I guess not.
Morgan Freeman,
I did notice
right?
a couple
times say he's Slevin.
They call him Nick, And he says, I'm not Nick.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you are. And
you know what you
right.
say?
I
Someone
did
calls you
notice
Nick
a couple
3
times he
times, or
avoided
someone calls you Nick
saying
3
Your
times.
horse,
Your
yeah,
horse.
maybe
Your
you
horse.
started shopping for a saddle. No,
That's
the
so
reason
good.
the reason I asked that is because I was thinking,
you think they would have put together the
yeah,
name
if
Slevin
you're
with the
the
horse?
rabbi or whatever.
Well, I don't think
but
he
if he
does.
never
but
says to
wouldn't the
them,
cops put that together? The name of the damn horse that died.
20 years ago.
But it was 20 years ago. They killed everybody. So why would they even think about remembering?
yeah, the
Like,
cops
that's never
wouldn't
coming
think
back.
about it,
I
but
don't
the
think-
rabbi and Morgan Freeman would, but he didn't tell him
He
his
never told
name.
them
So
the name, no.
okay, so that's kosher.
But still,
There's no
one
Frank
said, "Oh, Slevin." Where,
Frank
that's
Cole.
interesting.
Way to
Frank
bring
Cole,
it
you sure?
back.
I still
Not
think
for that instance.
I don't buy that. I want to meet somebody named Slevin.
No,
Well,
that's
you're never
fucking
gonna
stupid.
you're never gonna find it.
I'm-
That's retarded.
I was just trying to find another hole.
Might be a big fan of this
for
movie.
that,
Might
but-
name their child Slevin.
I want to
No.
meet someone named
Fucking-
Slevin
No.
before
It's not Khaleesi.
2006 or 2011.
Hey,
Oh, my
little rabbi
gosh.
boss, come over here.
Come here, boss rabbi. Flippers, I'm gonna say no. That's a no for me, dog.
I like it. I mean, I'll give it 1 flipper. Maybe, you know what? It's worth watching once. So I'll give it 2 flippers.
Wow. You know
I
what?
enjoyed it. When I first saw the movie, the first time I
You know
walked out
why?
enjoying it, watching it again, I
He
did
sleeps
not.
in the same bed as me.
I enjoyed when I first saw the movie, and when she chose, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a good movie," because I was seeing that one time, and I was like, "Oh, it's a fine enough movie." Because I guess when I saw it, I wasn't like, for me, when we saw the movie, it's like Basic. If you ever saw the movie Basic, it's just like
John
John
Travolta.
Travolta.
you watch
Basic,
it,
yeah.
and there's little twists at the end. You're like, "Oh, that was a pretty good movie."
And then you watch
and then
it
you
again.
don't think about it. It's not like I sit here and like, well, why is he? And I just watched the movie. I said, oh, wow, that was interesting. And then I went about my day, and I never really thought of it again. So I thought, oh, that's a pretty good movie. Now that I have to sit here and critically examine a movie, yeah, I mean, there's like plot holes galore,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't really make sense. And I didn't really buy a lot of it because I knew what was going on.
But you'll still give it 2 flippers?
Yeah, I liked the movie enough. I mean, if I liked it going in, problem with it being 2 flippers.
All right.
Well, I picked it. I still enjoy it, even with all the plot holes. I'm giving it 2 flippers.
Jesse?
Up.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, just 2 flippers up. I didn't specify.
Okay.
Just say 0. Just say
No, I don't want to give it. I
Okay.
actually, I'm going to give it 1 because
I'm shocked.
I can't do 2. Sorry.
No,
Sorry, Angie. I know we don't.
Oh
sleep,
no, I understand.
and it's because we don't sleep in the same bed together. But if we did, I
But we
would give
can.
it 2.
I'm sure that could be arranged.
Dirty penguin after dark.
After dark.
Dirty penguin after dark.
When the igloo shuts down. The bedroom turns up.
oh my god.
It had some boring, but it like the very beginning. I really enjoyed that very beginning story of the horse. And they were all talking about the horse and the phone calls that were being made, and then it did get a little boring at some points. But I mean, I'm kind of glad I watched it. It was okay.
It was a movie.
It was
It's a
okay.
movie.
It was a movie, and it was made. It was
True.
made. I heard
It was
a movie that got
It
made.
was a movie that was made and released and that we watched.
that we paid to watch, and I wish I could get my money back.
Andy?
Andy, stand your truth.
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah, hurting my feelings.
Truth to power.
I didn't
Andy.
make the
no,
movie.
here I'm gonna be true to what I thought when Kevin gave his 0 flippers. I wanted to give it 1 flip. The only reason I'm second thinking my guess is because it's at 5 already, and I hate.
And you don't want to tip it over to 6?
I hate making this
No,
a 6
no.
flipper movie.
No,
It just-
if your initial
it
reaction
burns
was
Let's
1
just
flipper
say it.
up,
Let's
a little
just say
petty.
it.
This is not a
If
6
you
flipper movie.
had gone first, you would have given it.
I would have given it a flipper. That's
Okay.
why I
Oh, then
said
you would've
it.
waited
Just to be fair,
Just to be fair, I'm giving it the flipper, but I'm upset because it is not. There is no
it
way.
is not a 6 flipper movie.
This is a 6
this would
flipper
have been a
movie.
1.5 for me, but I can't do half, so I round up.
Aw.
I was gonna give it a 1 just for production values. If it's a popcorn, have fun. There's some good dialogue in between it. It's well crafted. It's just not.
Good.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't hold up to multiple viewings.
It's a good
the more
popcorn
you
movie
watch,
for me.
the more you're gonna tell yourself if you're every time I watch it, it just makes less and less sense every time I see it. Like it just
I just don't
at the
think
end
that
of the
hard
day,
about
the
it.
plot. I just feel like there's no reason this movie's. It just.
If you haven't seen this movie, and you've gotten here, and you're like, should I watch this movie? Well, we've ruined the movie for you, so you probably shouldn't. But if you were a good Dirty Penguin listener and you watched the movies before,
there's some good acting. Watching the dialogue is kind of snappy and funny at parts. I love the Lucy Liu, Josh Hartnett chemistry is really solid.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is just that the plot itself is just doesn't hold. It just falls apart. But I was going to give it a flipper just because it's a decent enough film with enough money put into it, enough good actors in it that it carries it.
I have a question. If Lucy Liu was not involved and it was just everything else except Lucy Liu,
I would have hated this movie.
You would have hated
She
this
brought
movie?
a lot to this movie.
No flipper.
She was a
She
star
brought a
in
lot
this
to
movie.
Her and the Josh Hartnett are the only really.
I think she could have not been in this movie. It would have been fine. It would have
It
been the
would-
same.
it
It
would
would
have
have been
been
the
enjoyable.
same exact movie.
It would have been
I
the
like
same
her.
exact movie. The only twist is her survival at the end, which, according to what Fresh Facts, wasn't even in the movie until
People
the
didn't
like it.
audiences
Yeah.
by-
Yeah, she should have stayed. Yeah, she should have. I think
She should have
stuck-
died.
only to make it somewhat like
That would have been
impactful.
some-
Oh,
Surprising.
I thought you were going to say believable. I'm like,
Well,
nothing
no,
about
but just
this movie was
impactful to Josh Hart-
believable.
If you
It
killed
would have been a
her,
better movie.
that would have been a
I would have been like,
surprise.
wow.
It
That
would have
would've
been.
been
You're
a
right. It would
genuine
have been
surprise.
way more impactful to Josh Hartnett's
Yes, you are
character
correct.
as an arc. It would have been more
Well, especially
impactful.
if he killed her.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's what they
It
did.
always impacts you when
I
you
thought
kill
that-
someone.
The original
You would
ending
hope.
is him killing
It
her.
really-
Unless it's the way of the gun.
It really stays
and
with
then
you.
not so much.
Right. It is the way.
Well, we are wrapping up a 6 flipper movie. Thanks, Andy. A 6
Don't
flipper
hurt my
movie
feelings.
with Lucky Number Slevin. That's right, not 2000 Slevin,
Made
but
in
2000
2000
Slicks. Right on. There we go.
There's two people. There's two people that share a bed.
Thank you for joining us for this wonderful romp through 5 movies that were critically panned, but the audience loved. Find out more about The Dirty Penguin when you visit us on our Facebook fan page at The Dirty Penguin Presents or on our Instagram fan page at The Dirty Penguin Presents. Interact with us on Twitter at Dirty Presents. You can access all of those if you go and visit our website at thedirtypenguinpresents.com. Interact and listen to all of our episodes, all of our past seasons, and all of our future seasons at that website. Check out our bios, sign up for our email list, and get all of our updates right into your e-box. Gang,
It's called electronic mail.
that's
I
right.
think.
Okay.
And it comes to you from the World Wide Webs.
Yeah.
HTTP.
HTTPS. We are a secured
Secure.
site. That's right. Thank you to our worldwide listeners for listening. You guys picked this category.
That's right.
And, interact with us more. Go out to our fan pages, and we want to hear from you.
Yeah, drop us a line. Ride the dirty cowboy.
The reverse
Right.
cowboy.
Dirty
Ride the reverse dirty cowboy.
Go down
Dirty Penguin
that.
Cowboy.
Go down deep in that Frank
He's
hole.
backwards.
Yeah,
Go
go up the Frank hole.
Deep down that. Is it up the
It's
Frank?
up. It's
up.
up.
The
It's
Frank
up.
hole. We
We
go
go
up the
up the
Frank
Frank
hole.
hole.
That's
Yeah, we
right. We
went
go
up.
up the Frank holes here.
You're
We
assuming
can't
he's
let
standing.
this one
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Can we let this
You're
one
assuming
go?
it's a he. The next season, we have already decided what we are going to be talking about.
Yeah.
And should we go ahead and let our
You're going to reveal this big secret?
Right here on the end of Lucky Number Slevin.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a 6 flipper movie. I think it
Well-
deserves it.
Was this the only? No, we had another. I think Empire Records was 6 flippers too.
Was it?
I don't remember.
I think I get it.
I'm glad we enjoyed. We pretty much agreed with the critics on these movies.
All right, so that wraps up season number 5.
Wait,
You're not
wait,
going to
wait,
tell
whoa.
season number
What's
6?
season 6?
I did.
No, you
I?
didn't. No,
No.
you didn't.
You just
teased
teased the
it.
audience and completely walked away from
That's
it.
what
No, I
Scarlet
didn't. I
teased.
said it.
No, you didn't.
They
can-
know I said it.
We could
No.
rewind.
You
the
can
tape.
replay the tape.
Fine, rewind it.
What he's trying to tell you
Do
is
it now. Fine. Season number 6 of The Dirty Penguin Presents will bring to you
Drum roll.
5 movies
You got a drum roll?
No, I don't. I almost put one on there. 5 movies.
That was bad. That was
Yeah.
that was atrocious.
That sounded like someone like rolling a body down a hill.
That's what I was going
Our 5 movies for season 6 will be musicals. Dun, 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 dun.
And Doug could not be more excited. Yeah.
Musicals.
Yeah,
I feel pretty.
3 of the 5 people
I'm
in this,
so pretty.
in this igloo are very excited
I
about
heard
this.
that bomb drop.
Yeah.
Who are the?
I'm excited.
I know you two.
Yeah.
What? I'm excited.
You're
No.
not excited.
I'm looking forward to musicals. I already know
so it's
what I'm
Kevin and
choosing.
Jesse. Who's the
Oh,
third?
are you not excited?
I
Oh,
mean, I'm happy
2/5
to
of
do
the
it.
igloo
We
is
gotta
excited about musicals.
I'm okay to do
You
it. I
kind
just,
of brought it up, didn't you? Oh, you know
no,
what? We will discuss
no,
that.
he wanted to the right.
And then
In
we're
He went to the
season
left.
To the left.
6, episode 1. That's right. We will discuss more about this in season 6, episode 1. And until then, my fellow penguins,